think we're live. Morning, everybody. You know the drill. You know the drill. If you're here, if you're alive, I would love so much to see you in the comments. This is a really important class, and I'm really excited to teach it. And my name is Robin Whitworth. I am the creator of the Elevated Mother Collective and the Elevated Mother brand. I am so blessed to be able to do this. So blessed. Yay, Sharia's here. So good to see you. Happy to have you here this morning. If you read the description of this group, when it was originally created back in the day, I had been the mom that struggled in motherhood. And I can say that in a past tense way because I truly do not struggle in motherhood anymore in the way that I was. In a way of, hey, Amy, of questioning if I was doing it right. This is my past self. And please, ladies, please be vulnerable with us. Join the ranks of vulnerability, transparency, and safe space we have here. If this sounds like anything you've experienced, put it in the chat so that we all know how normal this is, because I recognize in hindsight, one of the biggest reasons that I felt low vibrations, shame, just cruddy stuff about this was because I believed I shouldn't be that way. And I really thought that I was the only, one of the only ones. I'm like, why is this so hard for me? My whole childhood, I dreamed of being a mother. I dreamed of having babies. I dreamed of reading stories to my kids and making chicken nuggets. I mean, I had those kinds of dreams, and I played babies, and I had pretend, and I had Barbies, and I dreamed of adventures with my family. And when I actually got there and I made those kinds of choices, I got married and we decided we were going to have a family, right? I dated somebody that wanted a family. I made the choices to make this my reality. I knew that. But when I was in it, it was hard. What? I chose it? Because there's other experiences if you choose to do this, that's great. But diving with sharks or something, that is not something I will choose to do at this stage of my life. I'm not going to say never because I believe in change, but no and no is no. Same with I don't know, other things that I'm just like, what? You did what? Going on who's this person? They went on a 30-day survival experience, and they had to kill snakes and drink their pee, and they had to do all sorts of weird things. And I'm like, you chose that? You signed up for it? You paid $10,000 to do this? What? But with motherhood, I realized it was kind of the same. How much does it cost to have a baby? How many months of your life? Your body literally is never the same. It started to just pile on me. All these choices I had made to be here. And here I was sitting on the floor in my closet crying about it, being so weighed down with the heaviness of it, and crying out to God and being like, what the heck? What? Why is this what I'm born to do? My body is born to do this. I've been taught that family is so wonderful, and yet I feel like a freaking piece of crap right now. I'm so tired. I just cry on demand. I can't even watch any movie with any amount of emotion without my whole face falling apart. I am so tired every day. I've got extra flab where I don't want it, but I don't have the energy to work out. And what even is that? I feel so stupid jumping around doing workouts and my body's flabbing around everywhere. This was my reality. Thank you, Megan. Thank you. Am I the only one, ladies? Like, share with us. Like, is any of this, like, really? Let's get real about some of the things in motherhood that are not to our preference. This, ladies, is called contrast. When you have a preference of how things are, but then you experience contrast that is against it, that's what contrast is. People might say it's my trial, people might say it's a challenge, but what's so interesting is another mom on another continent does not see that. Thereby, you know it's your own contrast. It's coming from something you believe within is creating your contrasting experiences every time. I didn't know this at the time. This is me. I visually remember this moment sitting in my closet crying and being like, my kids don't deserve a mom like this. Like, what in the world? Who said I could do this? Who said that I could be a mom? But that was the beginning of the journey for me. That was the beginning for me of going. And what really helped ground me was my faith in God. I thought, this is his plan. Like, this was the plan, was that we would be humans, we would be attracted to a partner, we would perpetuate the species through having children. And I had been told, and my mother was incredible. Like, I have amazing experiences with my siblings. I love family life, and I knew these things, and yet my contrast was trying to tell me that this was not cool, that this wasn't what I wanted. And I wrestled with that. I made all the choices to be here, but I'm not loving it. What's the point of making choices like that if I'm not going to love it? Anyone feeling me on this? Anybody? So this quote that I'm about to share was something that really shifted things for me. To give me motivation to kind of shift what was happening. And it says, you never rise to the occasion. You just sink to the level of what you know. Let that sink in. You never rise to the occasion. You sink to the level of your training. And my brother, who's in the Army, was telling me about basic training. Has anyone been in basic training? Tell me if you have in the comments. But he's like, I learned, now I'm in a leadership position. Now he's a leadership position in the Ranger program or whatever. And he's like, not whatever. That's one of the most prestigious, physically demanding arms of the Army that there is. But he said, the point of basic training is to break you down so far that you rely on your training for your very survival. And he said that the Army knows that in a moment of crises, you cannot be worried about your emotions. You will sink to the level of your training. And he said, so in basic training, they get you so broken down that you rely on your training. It's the thing that you just do. It just is what you do. It's what you do. It's what you do. So no matter what temperature it is, no matter who's shooting at you, like, you will still do your training. It gets to be your reaction is the training. And I thought to myself, wow, how many women go into motherhood thinking they'll just rise to the occasion? Figure it out. with no training, right? No training ground. I'm like, where's the motherhood boot camp? But what's interesting about that is that motherhood is not the army, right? And motherhood is raising human beings that have their own agency, raising human beings that are going to do all sorts of things that we're going to be triggered by based on our own traumas. And so I thought, well, how do we rise then? I said, well, it gets to be where we have grace for learning, understanding life goes like this to allow for learning. When we're down in the trenches, that's what I'm learning. When I'm up on the high rise and I'm feeling awesome, that's when I better take some notes. What's going well? Like, let's, like what's happening here? I can start to create my own basic training. Like, okay, when my kid flips out, I now have training that says, that's my kid flipping out. It's not personal to me. When my teenager starts getting into it about how I just don't know anything, I now am like so neutral. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm not in your life and I don't know everything, but what I do know is what's happening right now. And this is what we're doing. I can stay so much more neutral with a lot of training in this area. But here's your first belief. If you guys are taking notes, I'm going to give you 3 beliefs to drop that are going to help you so much, and 3 beliefs to adopt that are going to help you so much. Who's excited? Are you guys ready for this? Are you ready for this? Because if you're in this group, you're a mom that likes to do a lot of things. You're a mom that would love to do stuff with your life. You want so much self-expression. And this motherhood thing has likely kind of blindsided you a little bit. Any takers? Like, wait a second. How do I be a high achieving, goal achieving mom? And we're kind of like this, like alongside motherhood, right? Alongside it. I love that language so much because that truly shifted the mom guilt experience. Was like, oh, here's your faith, ladies. Here's a little thought that's coming to me that isn't part of my notes, but if you're a woman that has dreams and desires deep within, and they've kind of always been there, you're an idea person, you love to serve, you love to contribute to humanity, and you thought, oh, motherhood comes along, I guess I better not do that and do this. You're literally in misalignment with who you are. So what I've learned is that, number one, taking this language alongside is I've put my faith in God and said, if this is who I am, this is my spiritual DNA, then I'm going to just venture to have faith that the kids that are born to me are ready for it. The kids that are born to a woman like this are going to be resilient when I'm on business trips. They're going to be awesome at getting their schoolwork done. They're going to be so amazing because I work every day. They are ready to be the children of a working mom. I'll tell you, that belief serves me real well. And what's so cool is it also serves my children well because I go, hey, I'm going into the office for a couple hours. Here's your games and your snack. Da, da, da. It's normal. I don't say, Mommy's going to be gone. I'm so sorry I'm doing this again. Nope. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Like, I lean into the belief that they are the children of a high achieving mother and they love it. And I've even gone further to say it's what they need. I now lean into the beliefs that my children are going to be high achieving and they get to see how to do it alongside family. That's what I didn't have. I didn't have modeling in my home of a mom that didn't do all the things. So I'm like, hey, if my kids are going to be high achieving and they're born into this world of all the knowledge, the scientific age of all the things, they get to see how a mom gets to live her dreams and raise a family. They're seeing this. What a great benefit to them. Like, so good. So I now go, what am I modeling for them? These high achieving, amazing children, what am I modeling for them? When I go to Mexico with my husband alone, there's no apologies. This is what you do to do some R&R and fun. This is what you do in your marriage, kids. You take time and you go on vacations with your spouse. Won't that be so great for them? I'm excited for my kids' lives. So the first belief, I'm going to give you the belief to drop, and then I'm going to give you the belief to adopt. It's fun. When that came out of my brain as I was preparing for this class, I was so excited. I was like, oh, that sounds so good. Like, it's so good. Yes, Cherie. Yes, Megan. Ladies, take it in. Drink this up. So, number one belief to drop is that if you ever find yourself in a space of like, this is not how it's supposed to be, that's the belief you get to drop. That it should be different than what it is. So as I was crying in that closet, I didn't realize I was attached to the belief that it shouldn't be this way. That like tiredness shouldn't be there. That the kids shouldn't be so challenging. That this shouldn't, right? I was shooting all over myself thinking this isn't how it's supposed to be. That belief killed so many things for me, not just in motherhood, but in my marriage. When my husband would act a certain way, this isn't how it's supposed to be. Ladies, when you complain, it's because you're in non-acceptance of what is. So just take that in. Take that little nugget bomb, okay? So the belief that it should be different was something that kept me like, like what? Right? It was this, here I am being defeated again. But it's like, who said? Where's the basic training manual that this should be different? And I thought, wow. Once I started to dissolve that, yes, Missy, what shows up is the way. Like, once I started to dissolve that, I started to go, you know what? With all the information I have in this very moment, this is the decision that I made. Thereby, I have no other information, nothing else right now. So that must be right. I used to really get on myself about I made the wrong choice, I made the wrong decision a lot. I should have done that different. And now I look back and I go, Robin, where's your confidence in yourself? Like, if that was what you knew in the moment with all the information you had at the emotional level that you were at, that was the right thing to do. And if that means calling a friend to come sit with my kids so I can like go away and nap in my car in some random parking lot, it's been done, ladies. It's been done. Then that's what I'm going to do. And I stopped being like, this is wrong. This isn't how it's supposed to be. I stopped with all those kinds of beliefs. So ladies, the belief you can drop right now is any of that stuff of this isn't how it's supposed to be. It should be different. That belief attachment, because anytime we suffer, wisdom for you, anytime we suffer, it's because we're attached to a thought and it keeps running. And a thought we keep thinking is a belief. We're working on a belief that is causing us suffering. And once we can identify those patterns and we disrupt them, all of a sudden new opportunities open up for us. It's amazing. So sitting with myself over some years, this didn't happen overnight, ladies, but it can for you, maybe, possibly, because I didn't have this call. I'm just so excited that this is out into the world for all the moms that might be feeling this way. So once I just was like, no, this is my experience. I'm going to own this. Then I started saying, Robin, you've never done this day. You're going to learn today. You've never done today. Like, this is the training, right? We never rise to the occasion. We sink to the level of our training. I started training myself to start being like, today's a new day. I have no idea what it will bring. Today's a new day. This is my training. So now when things get real interesting, and they do with 5 children, when things get real interesting, that's the level of my training now. I don't expect myself to just be awesome. My training says, oh, you've never done this before. I wonder what will happen. It's so easy. It is the easiest belief to just go, I've never had today. I wonder what it's going to be like. I wonder what today will bring. Like, this is grace. I realized this was self-grace. But that was my training. Your training is your belief ground, right? Your training ground is your beliefs. And so I started to shift my training and going, whatever is how it's supposed to be. If my kid flips out at me today, he's got something going on. He's flipping out. Like, it really started to just, some people say, well, that's like surrender. You could say that. But my training says, I've never done today. Live in today. Just live in today. Whatever decisions you make today are the right ones. So guys, it's been a couple of years now of this really good training has been in for me. I haven't been like, oh, that was the wrong decision for a long, long time. A long, long time. Because I'm like, even with struggles in my marriage that happened, 10 years ago or whatever, deep struggles, ladies. I don't go, I made the wrong choice. I go, man, with everything we were going through at that time and where I was, the belief system I was operating on, that was the best decision I could make. So of course it was the right one. Like, I can't live in this space of wondering if I should have done something different because I didn't. So however things happen, I go, of course that's the right way it was supposed to be because it was, or else it would have been different. Like, living in that way with that belief system serves me so well, my friends, so well. And so in those moments, I go, is this all I know? Like, is this the best I'm going to do today? Great. Good job, Robin. Good job. Your kids got the best of you today. I'm the best mom ever. I say those things to myself, friends. Like, really. Yeah, if you argue with reality, you lose 100% of the time. One of the quotes I read in the book, The Big Leap, he says, if you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. You know what I mean? Like, and that only makes sense. If you keep arguing, well, I have this problem and I have this type of child and I have this type of spouse and I don't have that. As long as you keep arguing about that, it will persist for you all the time. You get to keep them. So sometimes when I'm like, oh, I just don't know if I can do that, I think, what's the limitation I'm arguing for? Like, what is this, So that's the first 2 beliefs. Drop the one that says motherhood should be a certain way and it should look different for you. The second, and then so the belief you want to adopt is, I've never done this day. I believe every day is new and the decision that I make in every moment is the best one. Thereby, I've always made the right choice. Crazy, right? You guys ready for number 2? You guys ready for number 2? I love that Amy's here. Shree's here. So number 2, when I felt at my lowest, and other moms that I coach, I've seen this over the years, they feel trapped. They literally feel trapped in their circumstances, trapped by their own choices, which sucks to feel sometimes. To be like, well, if I truly lean into the fact that I chose myself here, that feels kind of crappy a little bit because I feel kind of crappy right now. But if we've had our training of number 1, then we know to say, you know what though? I did that in good faith. I did that in good faith. So thereby, this is the fruit of a seed I built somewhere on some belief. If I feel trapped, I really felt trapped. I'm like, I've got myself into this mess. I can't just leave. Although I would joke to people, like, I sometimes just want to disappear. Any other moms want to admit that? I didn't want to disappear from life. This wasn't a suicidal thing for me, although I recognize it could be real for someone else. I didn't want to disappear from life. I love living. I love living so much. But I wanted to disappear from this life, like this version. Like this version that I had been working with. I was like, can I just not have this one? Like, can I just do something else for like a month and then I'll come back to this. I promise I'll come back. Unfortunately, with children and family, you can't just freeze them over here and then go do a thing for a little bit. Although there's humans that try. Anyone know some of those people? They attempt to run away from what they chose. Doesn't work, friends. Never works. So this belief that I'm trapped will keep you there. That's the belief you want to drop. This belief that you're trapped is not helpful. Okay? Although I recognize the reality of that perspective. I chose myself here like, okay? Totally feel it. People in the chat are letting us know you're not alone in this, okay? But remember, we sink to the level of our training. So if you've been like, I'm trapped, can't do anything, that's the level of your training. Let's shift it, right? It's just a belief that you've been running on that says, I'm trapped, I'm caged. This can lead to a lot of victim mentality type stuff. I can't do that because she can only do that because, okay? So the belief that you get to drop is that I'm trapped and I can't get out. It's my fault. No. Because number one helps us with that already. The new training says, I always have a choice. I always have a choice to feel different, do different, whatever, right? I always have the choice. Always, 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 always. Throughout the Bible, throughout the New Testament, throughout so many works of inspiration, this is the hinge point on any of our limitations, is to recognize we have choice. God says in the Bible, we are agents to ourselves. We are to act. Faith without works is dead. We get to choose. So when you feel this, you're like, oh, but what choices can I make? Can I choose a different belief right now? How about grace for the mess? Can I choose a different belief over here? Can I choose to think differently about my son? Some of you saw my post about my son that was really on all the blacklists and the red lists and all the lists that people make about children. And I was in medical trauma. I was going through a thing. I literally could not get up off my recliner without fear of death. There was a thing going on in my body and I could bleed out and die in 30 seconds with the wrong thing. There wasn't me running to the school. There wasn't me like, and I remember being like, I'm trapped in this circumstance. But as I had shifted my training, it said, Robin, you have a choice here. What is it? What is it? Because there's always a choice. I said, there's school counselors. I got on my email and I emailed everybody at that school what was going on at home, what was going on here, what my perspective was. And those people just showed up and they supported my son. And it was turned into be this beautiful thing where he is now really grounded, like really grounded. And he is just turning into be, guys, he has his moments. He's a teenage boy, but like in the inside and in his heart and in his soul, he is very grounded because of this experience. And so leaning into my idea of like, I can choose different. I'm not going to argue for my limitations anymore. I'm going to choose different. Always. That's the belief I now hold. That's the training I fall to is where's my choice here? What's the choice I could make? And so with my son, it changed everything. And I started journaling. When my son meets with the counselor, he's going to learn these things, and he's going to benefit from this. He's going to learn about the village that supports him. Leaning into that belief versus he's traumatized for life because of this and he's never going to feel secure. Guys, journal out what you would love. Lean into your choices, because your choice in faith and leaning into what you would love and prefer, that's telling God exactly what you would love. When we sit over here and we're trapped and sad and God, just make it better. He's like, there's this law of agency thing. I can't just make it better. Sure, God and Jesus said there's a comforter they can send to comfort you. But whether or not your life changes is up to you, your actions. He supports you either way. Okay? God responds to you. So start journaling out and believing and leaning into, my son is so awesome. My husband does this thing, or my whatever it is. Like, really lean into what you would love, because what's so amazing is when that's what you've been focusing on, guess how that energy is? You start showing up with those beliefs. When my son came home from school, I'd be like, hey, tell me about your day. Tell me what went well. I know that you had some good moments. Share those with me. Instead of, what happened today? Were you sad again? What? No. He can share those moments with me, but I'm going to lean into this direction, right? It started shifting everything. That became the level of my training. When I start to feel like, oh no, what is going on here? I go, what choices can I make that are different? We recently went on a cruise with our family for Christmas. First cruise that I've taken with kids. I've been on a cruise with me and my husband, but we had a number of this kind of experience. But the level of my training said, Robin, you always have a choice. Things always work out for you. That's another thing I always say. Things always work out for me. But that's my reality that I'm seeing now. So the contrast that might start showing up, my training says, you've never done this day before. You always have a choice in every situation. Do you see how this makes life a little lighter? It started making motherhood a little lighter. And as a working mom and a working mom, a mom that has a lot of goals, and I'm doing lots of stuff, these serve me so much better than, oh, it should be different. I'm trying. Like, no way, right? No way. So you're going to drop the idea you're trapped in your choices, and you're going to flip it around to, I have choices. That's the belief I'm going to work on now, and I'm going to start leaning into those choices. Like, let's start choosing what I would love and lean into that heavily. Okay, number 3. So we've had 4 different ones, right? Because I said we'd have 3 you were going to drop and 3 you're going to adopt. And just so you guys are aware, I've been coaching on this for a long time. I take a lot of women through this. And inside my program, the Elevated Mother Experience is literally where you experience an elevated way of thinking. Oh, Jen has a question. She says, hey, are you saying start the conversation and choose the outcome? I'm not sure. I mean, you could say that. You could say it in that way if that works for you. Because the outcome ultimately is up to you, how you're going to feel about it, right? So you can elaborate on that if you want, Jen. You can elaborate on where you're at on that. And we'll come back to it. So number 3 says, I should be different. I should be different. I should be better at this. I should be better at that. I should be a better mom. I should be, right? Like I should be a different person. So it's a little different than number 1, where it's like my experience, like this just shouldn't be my experience. And this one's like, I should be a different person. Like, Like when I was like, maybe I shouldn't even be a mom. Like maybe I should be just different. I should be more quiet. I should be more loving. I should be more nurturing. I should be all these things. I just should be a different person than who I am. It's different. It hits different. That goes deep into our worthiness, deep into our beliefs about ourselves and how valuable we are, how valued and loved you have been for centuries and are today, right? You are incredible, amazing, wonderful, valued, and worthy of all things right now. Since the day you were born, like there was nothing to prove, nothing. So this belief that I should be different, it lets us know that sometime in your life, you had an experience where you were shamed for being your natural self. A lot of times these things happen in early childhood. Oh, you shouldn't be that way, dear. Yeah, we hear our mom maybe, or dad, or siblings, or grandma, like, well, she's this way, and that's a little bit odd. Or we're sent to our rooms for having big emotions, and we're never told why. We just know that however we were wasn't right. This can go really, really deep. And always thinking you should be different. Good point, Missy. Yes. Always thinking you should be a different person is very draining because you're trying to not be who you are. Like, it's like, what? It's always, you're always going to be in this kind of grinding dissonance, misalignment spot if you don't think you can just be who you are, right? So the belief against that is realizing that, and I brought it up, and all these beliefs will touch one another. But this idea that God responds to you. Here's what's really cool. If you see something in someone else, like say I watch the Instagram story of somebody that's amazing. I admire how they're doing something, and I read to my kids every night, or I watch something that I see another human being doing something incredible. Ladies, if you see something in someone else, it means it's within you as well. This is scientific. Do you know what mirror neurons are? I know I've taught this to my clients, so if they're on here, they're going to be like, oh, Robin's taught us this. Mirror neurons, when you have a baby, the mirror neurons are the ones that look around and they start being reflected things. It's a mirror to them, and the neurons start forming an idea. When the mommy goes like this, and she has her eyebrows and the sides of her mouth, the neurons in the baby start working on that, and their face starts doing it too. Who's had this experience? You smile. It's actually scientific that the baby's ear receptors are more responsive to a high-pitched sound. That's why we do that naturally. Isn't it so cool? But they will mirror back to us our experience. So if you see a mom and you're like, oh, that's so admirable, look how she does that. Another person sitting across the room will not see what you saw. We are literally reflected things within us. If you see someone that's so admirable and how they talk to their child or whatever, you're capable of it, I guess is what I'm saying. Like it's already within you to value that or do it or be it if you want. It's really powerful once you're like, oh, if I see greatness in someone else, it's because I recognize it within myself. I know deep down somewhere that I can be great. I know deep down somewhere I could talk to my kid in a tone of voice like that. It's really interesting how these work because, like, and I wrote this, I think I wrote it in my post the other day, didn't I? Like, a mom that sees a certain thing will be reflected things that she understands. Another mom across the room will see something and she's reflected what she understands. We're all having a different reality based on our reflective experiences. So when you're like, I should just be different, I should be different, but then you see these, the reason you're seeing it is because it's actually already within me. So when I believe greatness, things I would love to experience, I'm like, oh, I'm already capable of it. When we start recognizing what we believe, we start recognizing our capacity. We're like, oh, I could choose that. I could totally do that. Instead of having envy or jealousy or self-shame, we can start just being inspired. We're like, oh, dang, she's got that thing that's so awesome. I can too. Like it starts to give you an opportunity to have a person not be a comparison for you, but they become a frame of reference for you. Do you see how the beliefs shift? I shouldn't be a different person. Like the belief is that I should be a different person and that these people, you know, we have this comparison language we use, but what if we shift it to the new belief of I'm only reflected awesome stuff. And if I see greatness in someone else that's within me, they're my frame of reference of things that I know and understand. Like it just totally shifts the energy, doesn't it? It totally shifts the energy. When I see an incredible person, I see an incredible experience, I'm just like, oh, that's so cool. I start to just be there instead of thinking something personal about it. I just go, oh, interesting. I could have that experience if I choose it, right? And I now have the belief that when I see greatness, it's because it must be within me somewhere, because I'm only reflected what I understand. So those are the three beliefs. One of the things I read that has served me so well, and I did an etymology study on it, was the word sin. It actually isn't based on a barometer of like good or bad behaviors, um, I yelled at my kid, therefore I sinned. There's not some list of sins, right? There's not some exhaustive list of what's wrong. It's actually individual. Sin, according to Hebrew ancient characters in ancient China, in India, in Egypt, this idea of sin that was translated into the ancient Greek, thereby translated into Old English, they used the letters S-I-N. But when you look at all the translations, it means to turn away from oneself. When you turn away from your most awesome self, that's the sin. And it's even then, God says, you just repent, you just course correct. That's what repent directly translated is. We just course correct. So then it's like, okay, so if I know this and I'm embodying it and I'm believing it, then when I yell at my kid, the sin isn't just that I yelled at my kid, it's that I actually don't want to do that. And when I course correct and say, I don't want to do that, sorry, kid, I'm progressing. It's this great thing of learning and progressing and learning and progressing and learning and progressing. I don't have to have these deep-seated energy leaking ideas that like I should be different and I'm trapped in my choices and motherhood should look different for me. Those are very fatiguing type beliefs. But when I'm like, I've never done it this way and I always have a choice here and God responds to my desires here because I'm awesome, it starts to lighten up your life and your choices. And you go, well, then this is awesome. Like life is so awesome and I can have whatever I want. Like my success and whatever I choose could be completely certain because that's what I'm choosing. Like I don't know, it just blew my mind when I started shifting these. So my prayer is that it will for you too. That you can start to, when things happen, because life is just going to happen, we don't think, oh, I'll just rise to the occasion. You'll sink to the level of your training. So let's get trained in some new ways of thinking, because that's where your energy and choices come from, is your beliefs. So you say, well, how do I do that in so many areas? Let's get it on paper. Let's map what your contrast is that you're experiencing. Let's map the patterns. Let's start disrupting them. Let's find a safe container to do that in, by the way. Like your husband is probably not the one to do this work with. You're close to him, probably not your mom, right? Like, let's find a safe place to do this. How do we write our contrast? How do we shift it? How do we move this stuff? My friend, that's what we do in the first 2 weeks of the Elevated Mother Experience. We map your contrast. We have a whole booklet for you to do this. It will not get lost. Section 1, alignment mind mapping, right? Your contrast, right? If you're a client of mine, you've seen this, you have it. And what's cool is once you know the framework, you use it over and over and over again. You go, where am I seeing this? What are the beliefs doing this? What's actually reflecting to me that I value so much that this contrast is showing up? And we start to know, and you can start changing whatever it is that you would like to shift. It's awesome. It is so, so very awesome. So, so awesome. And the community inside the Elevated Mother Experience is all the ladies doing this too. And so you see them all mapping their patterns and seeing what's changing. It's so incredible. I feel so blessed to be able to be the facilitator of such a powerful space. We're shifting the training. So ladies, you'll never rise to the occasion of being the most amazing mother just because you have the parts to do it. Let's shift the training for all mothers. Let's shift the belief systems. We'll reduce fatigue, increase energy. You'll start to see more abundance flow in your life because you made it that way. People that have a lot of abundance and good fortune, it is not by luck. It is God responding. It truly is. He will answer either way. So it's beautiful. It's wonderful to understand just how much say we have in this life. It can be so beautiful. You can truly have the more that you want without so much of the guilt and the fatigue and all these other things wanting to disappear. Yes, Missy. Once you know the skills, you can't not know, right? So when you get into a big crazy situation like cruise ships that might be leaving without you, you sink to the level of your training. And as I've been doing this work longer and longer, I'm so much more neutral. I'm so much more just like, sure, it is how it is. It's going to be fine. It's great. And my life truly is that way. It's so, so amazing. And so it's like every mom needs to have this framework because motherhood is like a big roller coaster. It is so crazy. It's one of the most fulfilling things that you can do because it stretches you. And I think that God knew that. It would be one of the most amazing catalysts we could ever take on to help us to have full expression of our lives. But we sink to the level of our training in the hard stuff. So if you need different training, write that in the chat, right? Training. And Missy or Cherie or Heather, we will get on a chat with you and see what's going on. And we're going to see if the program can help you. And if we don't think it will and you don't think it will, then we give you a resource. We suggest somewhere in our network. We have great networking. This person might help you better. But if we do think we can help you, we will lay it out in a strategy and say, this is what we would do for you. And that's all free. It's a free consult. Like we'll show you. So if you want to talk about training, put training in the chat and we'll reach out and you can have this call with us and we can lay out what it is that we would do with you. And you just might have the most amazing year of your entire freaking life. Okay? So, cheers to having more alongside motherhood. And I hope your weekend is incredible. And I hope to hear from a lot of you. Talk to you soon.